Welcome to Kingston, Jamaica, the heartbeat of the island. From the lively streets filled with reggae beats, street vendors, and colourful murals, to the calm shores of Port Royal and the hills of St Andrew, Kingston is where culture, music, and passion come alive. But beyond the greeneries, the sunny mountains, and the sandy beaches, lies a sad story about a boy that needed the world when no one was there. A story that will make your heart cry, and a story that will be total unforgettable. In the middle of Kingston, where dreams can get lost between the traffic rush hour and the heat, there lives a boy named Malik Alexander. He's only 14, but life's already hitting him harder than most ever felt at his age. Imagine having a family that doesn't exist, a life that feels like a dream. Washing cars each day, pretending everything's okay, when deep down, you're just wishing someone would see you or to listen. Imagine no home, just a bucket, a rag, and a heart full of hope. While majority of us, even Malik age, has some place to sleep. On the opposite, this was Malik's home, a dark and dirty rat-infested tunnel, where he seeks refuge every night, sometimes with no food or water. He has no mother, no father, no family, no one. Absolutely no one, just a stray dog he calls friend and the lonely streets of Kingston. While Malik is asleep in his tunnel with friend, the nightlife of Kingston comes alive.
Baby, don't watch the man if you know want to suck off your long breast. As a side man, hear what me have to say.
This is the heartbeat of the night. Ladies show off on other ladies, they brook out, dutty wine and do headpan shoulder. This is the time the ladies get to skin out. With no care in the world that a boy Malik is in need of someone, sleeping hopelessly in a tunnel. The men are just the same, no remorse for life. They bust blank in the parties, smoke weed, drink alcohol, and then go looking for the hottest girl to take home, with no care in the world that a boy who could be their son or brother is desperately in need. Every morning Malik would hit the streets of Kingston, hoping to make some chump change, not knowing where his destiny would take him. But he was never fearful, he was a survivor, a fighter somewhat like of Iron Man. Despite it all, Malik would sometimes have good days, especially when the lady nurse stops by. She usually comes on a Tuesday. She's very friendly and is the only one that will talk with Malik while she waits on her car to be washed. The nurse lady always give him the right amount of money, even sometimes give him extra for lunch just so he could save for the rest of the week. This made him happy. But some days would be Malik's worst nightmare. Like today, this man asked for his car to be washed, but instead accused Malik causing damages to the interior of his car. When he realized Malik had no family to cover the cost, he became angry, annoyed, furious. Even the vendor felt it for the boy. This is Malik's father. Meet Donovan Big D Matthews, a feared and respected name in Kingston streets. He's the self-proclaimed Don, a man who rose from the ghetto to the top. With flashy cars, gold chains, and a thick patois that commands attention, Big D is the kind of man everyone in the community knows out of fear. That's the type of person he was. Big D has 12 children scattered across Kingston, including Malik, some in England and America, each with a different mothers. He provides for none. While he flashes cash in dance halls and drives through the city in his blue Mercedes-Benz, Malik especially grew up watching him from afar while he washing cars for a few dollars. Malik used to wonder, how can he carry a man's last name, but never his love? Instead of going to KFC or McDonald's, Malik would go to the market for fruits to take home, the market lady would give Malik extra bananas, like the ones that wasn't sold that day, because bananas spoil easily. Malik was really appreciative, because he never had kindness anywhere else. Each evening, Malik and friend would hurry to leave town. This way he would avoid seeing the schoolboys and girls. He got a feeling he never understood. But it was jealousy, the fact that they had some form of purpose to life and he didn't, and how happy they all seemed. But Malik's feeling of rejection didn't define who he was. He knew all life experiences would elevate him becoming a better person, and he wanted to be that boy. So instead, Malik made good use of the emotions he felt each day to carry on for tomorrow. He was brave, a very resilient boy. Today, as for Malik as he wanders home, he endured so much emotion, from being happy seeing the nurse lady, she's like an aunt, and being accused of damages to a vehicle that was already there, and to then see his father passes him with no care in the world. Malik knew with God he was going to be great. He would show gratitude for the very air he breathed, and he will strive to be better than the worst. Malik stopped at the chicken and chips shop. He always do on a Tuesday, because he knew the nurse lady will give him extra cash for the week. The night was exceptionally quiet, almost too quiet for the town of Kingston. The shops were shut tight, their metal shutters reflecting the dim glow of the streetlights. The smell of roasted corn still lingered faintly, but the vendors were gone. No music, and Jamaicans are known for music. No voices either, just the sounds of barking dogs and Malik's footsteps on the lonely streets of Kingston, Jamaica. But there was something else that was strange. On Malik's return back to the tunnel, his eyes caught a single folded letter resting on the mattress, untouched, glowing faintly in the tunnel light, as if it had been placed there by someone purposely, or maybe it was sent by an angel from heaven to give him a message. It reads, "Sometimes life feels heavy and the days seem endless, but miracles often arrive quietly, right after you decide not to give up. Have faith and keep moving, even when it's slow. Something beautiful is already on its way to meet you. Trust in God." The moment he read the letter, Malik's heart sank. It felt as if the tunnel walls around him had closed in, pressing down every breath he took. His fingers shook as tears built up, though he didn't even know why, yet he would get this message. It was the weight in that envelope. That not of paper, but of meaning, of something deeply personal, someone or something that knew his pain and what he's going through. For a second, he knew it was a message far beyond this world.
Remember, say dash of water can't take up. In other words, know how you treat people, how you speak to them. You can't cow down people or speak down to them or speak at them and expect the relationship to work. Because at some point, if you keep abusing the relationship, whether you are a relative or even a friend, people are going to walk away.
Just landed in Jamaica is Miss Lorraine Madam Campbell Bennett, a rich and wealthy high-ranking government official, one who doesn't just follow orders, she gives them. Politicians lower their voices when she walks past. Even those who outrank her on paper still tread carefully around her. Nothing moves in the government unless Lorraine says so. Her presence is sharp and calculated. Her eyes miss absolutely nothing. Her tone is calm, but her words can cut like a blade. When she speaks, meetings fall silent. Ms. Lorraine Campbell. She's untouchable. The woman who controls the storm and sometimes is the storm. No one dare crosses her twice. Malik woke up reading the note he found on his mattress the night before. He was grateful for the affirmation, He never felt peace in a very long time, and that was enough to start his morning.
The questions I dare to ask, to surrender, not as a public figure though, but as a human being. And so I say this to you on my birthday. Stand in your heart with gravitas, with courage, and know that your mission is your guide, your constant. It's your safe harbor. But whatever that mission is, yes, you are the keeper of that trust and the guardian of your heart, but you must be willing to unshield your heart for the greater good of global humanity that now needs love more than ever before. And you see, when you summon that courage to release your own fear, to stop barricading yourself, then and only then will your voice thunder. Then you will speak with abandon. Then you will ask questions with urgency. And when that moment comes, you will not only be more, you will be more whole, more selfless, more open towards embrace. And we need that. So today, at 50 years old, I stand before you on my birthday, what I've always been, a woman in motion. And the journey for me is never done, neither is yours. And so here's my birthday wish, that you find that wholeness. And if you already have it, great. Just help someone else to get there, please.
After Miss Lorraine Campbell's visit from the school on December 11th was the first time she laid eyes on Malik Alexander. A bus driver from the neighboring community paid Malik to clean the St. Hope Academy school bus. The very same school Miss Campbell just lectured. She was infuriated by what she just saw. The telephone call she immediately made would change Malik's life forever, which solidified that the note he received days before was sent by an angel from above.